Hey everyone, welcome to Remote Rise, the channel where freelancers and programmers come to level up their careers and mindset. Today, we're tackling a challenge that every programmer faces at some point: staying motivated. Whether you're stuck on a tough bug, losing interest in long projects, or simply feeling burned out, I'm here to share 5 simple but powerful tips to help you get back on track and stay motivated. These aren't just quick fixes, they're strategies that can keep you motivated for the long haul. And make sure to stick around for the last tip, because it's something that has totally changed my approach to staying motivated as a programmer. Let's dive right in. Our first tip is a game changer. Break down big projects into smaller, manageable tasks. This is crucial because sometimes a project can seem so massive and overwhelming that we don't even know where to start. Imagine you're tasked with building an e-commerce website. At first glance, it might feel like an enormous, never-ending task. But what if you break it down into smaller, bite-sized tasks? For example, instead of thinking, I have to build an entire website, start with, today, I'll focus on setting up the user login system, or I'll design the homepage first. I remember when I was working on a big web app project, it was daunting and I felt stuck. But once I broke it down into individual components like the user interface, database setup, and API integration, everything started to click. Every small task I completed gave me a sense of accomplishment and kept me moving forward. So break it down. Use a project management tool like Trello, Notion, or even a simple to-do list to organize your work into smaller, specific tasks. It'll make big projects feel much more manageable, and every task you finish gives you a little boost of motivation. Tip number 2 is setting daily and weekly goals. It's one thing to have an overarching goal, like finishing a project or landing a client. But without breaking it into smaller, time-based goals, it's easy to lose direction and motivation. Think of it like this. If you're on a long road trip, you don't just aimlessly drive in the general direction of your destination. You plan out the trip in segments, right? You know what city you want to stop in first, where you'll refuel, and where you'll stay overnight. Programming is no different. At the start of each week, outline your key objectives. For instance, this week I want to finish building the navigation bar for my website, or I'll spend 3 hours each day learning a new programming language. Then break those weekly objectives into daily goals, so each day has a clear focus. This simple practice gives you a sense of purpose each day. It turns a seemingly endless project into a series of manageable tasks, and you can measure your progress day by day, which keeps you motivated. Pro tip: try using tools like Google Calendar or Todoist to keep track of your goals. Physically checking off completed tasks at the end of each day can be a huge motivator. You'll see just how much you're getting done, even on days when you feel like you didn't accomplish much. Tip number 3 is about keeping things fresh and exciting by learning something new regularly. Programming is a field that's constantly evolving, and it's easy to fall into a rut if you're doing the same thing day in and day out. Keeping your mind engaged with new challenges can reignite your passion for coding. What's great about learning as a programmer is that you have endless opportunities. Whether it's picking up a new framework like React or exploring a completely different programming language, learning something new gives you a sense of progress, which directly fuels motivation. For example, I remember when I felt stuck in a coding job, writing the same type of code over and over. I started learning Python on the side, just to keep my skills sharp. What started as a side interest ended up sparking a whole new level of enthusiasm, and soon I was incorporating new ideas into my work. You don't have to spend hours learning something new each day. It could be as simple as spending 20 minutes on a coding challenge on platforms like LeetCode, or watching a short tutorial on a tool you've been curious about. Schedule time to learn regularly. It'll not only make you a more well-rounded developer, but also break up the monotony and keep you excited about your work. Tip number 4 might seem counterintuitive, but it's essential. Take breaks and practice self-care. As programmers, we can get so locked into a project that we forget to step away. But pushing yourself too hard without breaks leads to burnout, and burnout is the ultimate motivation killer. The Pomodoro technique is a great way to implement breaks. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, take a longer break. This gives your mind time to recharge, and you'll come back with a clearer head and more energy. Don't forget about physical self-care either. Sitting at a desk all day can be draining, not just mentally, but physically too. Take time to stretch, go for a quick walk, or do some light exercises to keep your energy levels up. I used to push through long coding sessions without taking breaks, and while I felt like I was being productive, I often found that the quality of my work dropped. Once I started incorporating regular breaks, not only did I feel more energized, but my focus improved dramatically. Give yourself permission to rest. A 5-minute break can actually save you hours of frustration and keep you motivated throughout the day. And now, for our final tip, and this one has been a game changer for me personally. Celebrate your small wins. It's so easy to get caught up in the bigger picture that we forget to recognize the progress we're making along the way. Did you finally squash a bug that's been driving you crazy for hours? Or maybe you just finished coding a challenging feature. Celebrate it. That doesn't mean you have to throw a party every time you solve a problem, but take a moment to acknowledge your effort and progress. Celebrating these small victories gives you a boost of confidence and keeps you motivated to tackle the next challenge. After all, motivation is built on momentum. Each little win builds up to something bigger. You can even keep a win journal where you write down your accomplishments, big or small. That way, on days when you feel like you're not making progress, you can look back and remind yourself how far you've come. So remember, no matter how small the win, give yourself credit. Motivation is all about celebrating the journey, not just the destination. So there you have it. 5 simple tips to help you stay motivated as a programmer. To recap, break down big projects, set daily and weekly goals, keep learning new things, take regular breaks, and don't forget to celebrate your small wins. These habits will keep you energized and on track, even during the toughest projects. I hope these tips help you as much as they've